Hey, everybody, and welcome to Making Miracles Happen. We're going to be talking about some very interesting things today. And a lot of those are going to have to be about, of course, miracles, surrender, and beliefs. But first of all, can you please introduce yourself and tell everybody what it is that you do?
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Mary Size, and I do a lot of different things, but basically what I'm supposed to be doing is I'm a licensed social worker, and I do something called energy psychology, meaning that we use the energy systems of the body for psychological problems. And I'm considered a pioneer in that field because I'm quite old, and I've been doing it for like 20 some odd years, 25 years, and got right in on the ground level and figured out ways how you could use this to shift any belief. I've written a book on that, how you can use it for trauma, for when you have consciousness that gets split off, especially in a trauma or a really upsetting event. So that's one of the things. So I do energy psychology. And then over the last 20 years, I've met and I work very closely with Her Holiness Saima, who's an enlightened spiritual master, one of the divine mothers on the planet.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. And now I would say more of what I do is that I do spiritual psychology. So I look at like how alignment with the divine of who we are that's really the only thing that's going to get rid of our depression or our anxiety. I mean, because kind of if you think you run the planet, you should be anxious. Okay. So you need meds. So like it's when you begin to realize who you really are and align with that and your whole life, and you release with energy psychology. I still use that, everything that you're not. And then you return to the beauty, the brilliance of who you really are. So that's more of what I do now. But
So,
this is a cool thing I do. I serve as the director of a Mary Magdalena practitioner program for Saima.
oh, wow.
Yeah. So Saima has brought us the energies of Mary Magdalena, and I serve that program. It has hundreds of practitioners around the globe. Work with Saima on that, and like how to emanate, how to like take on the qualities of Mary Magdalena, the fearlessness, the tenderness. That was never my strong suit. Fearlessness, yes, but tenderness, I had to get that one in. And balance the masculine feminine, which everybody's talking about these days. Yep. Mary Magdalena is such a role model for that. And then be able to hold and emanate these frequencies. So that's in all the work I do too. So I kind of do a lot of things.
That is a lot. That is a lot. I'm really interested in talking to you, especially about I have so many questions right now. You have no idea. So many questions. But first is, how does surrender play a part in what you do? Like, how does a person need to surrender to move forward, to really, get the results they want when they work with you?
Okay. So I could just tell you how I had to surrender. So especially when I was doing energy psychology, we're tapping on meridians. So this is like in the 90s. Nobody's even doing yoga. So I'm like really weird. Okay. So I'm like, we're doing this, but my clients were getting better, and and then as I got moving, that just took me to a certain point. That was my surrender point. When my sister died, I just had no answers for what was going on. I was at the end of all my, hard-earned brilliance. Anyway, and that was when I really went deeper. But for me, when I sometimes was looking at what you do before I came on today, and I was thinking, you have all these people who, maybe see angels or hear whatever, whoever's talking. Bottom line is I have none of that. Okay. And I was thinking, what am I going to tell her? I don't have a story. But I realized that what I do have and what I had to surrender to was I have knowing. Like I know stuff, like that feeling like, yes, that's right. Like tapping when people thought I was absolutely nuts, but I knew, no, this is right. I know it. And for me, it was surrender to the knowingness within me. Surrender to the divinity that's in all of us. It's not just me, and not what, as going within and asking that still small voice, rather than going out there or asking the internet or asking my friends or my relatives, or that's even really stupid. But just to really be, so I had to, for me, it was surrendering to that knowingness. How many times have you said, I knew I shouldn't have done that? But we don't listen to it.
So many. So
Yes,
many.
exactly. Or, oh, I wanted to, but somebody told me that was a bad, whatever. And really just surrendering to this guidance system that we all have within us that's available for us. That was my surrender. And it just, the more you do it and the more your life becomes the miracle. And the more you can serve on the planet or whatever your soul's incarnation is about. Yeah. So that was my surrender. But I don't have any and then Michael the Archangel came in my front door. He's not been here. Or at least I haven't seen him.
Because so many people will actually say that to me. They'll be like, well, I don't hear voices. I don't see things. Like, I don't have these psychic abilities. And I'm like, well, do you ever get that feeling exactly what you said, where you're just like, I knew I shouldn't have done it, or I knew I should have done that.
Like people think that's like not a good iPhone or something, like I don't have I tell people my first eye needs a contact lens. I see nothing. Okay. And I always in those workshops sit next to the person who's, oh, Jesus is in the room. I'm like, really? Where is he? Because I have a few questions for him. But I know. And it's not actually some of the things I've heard, that's like the best thing to have. Yeah. It's a little harder to trust, but once you begin to trust that, nobody can mess with you. Nobody can shake you because, so cultivate it. That's what I would say to everybody. If you don't have the seeing angels, hearing voices or whatever, cultivate some of these other things. And this is something to have. Yeah.
It's really interesting because, I've always been the person who could see something or hear something or just, get that feeling. But I'll tell you, when I was doing paranormal investigations and things wanted to hide from you, you had to know. It was like, I don't feel it. I don't hear it, but I know something is here.
Exactly.
I know it. Yep. And that knowing, I feel like, is one of the most powerful gifts you can really have.
Exactly. Well, because I'll tell you what Saiva shared with us at one time, or at least my understanding what she said. She said an entity can actually come between you, can come in front of you, and you can't use your seeing. So that's why knowingness, you have to cultivate your knowingness. Like, I know, and then like nothing. Frankly, I think if I saw entities, it might scare me. And my goal is that they're scared of me. I carry so much light. You guys don't even mess with me. But I don't know if I saw one, whether I'd be that brave. So maybe it's better. I don't know seeing. I don't know. I just know knowingness. We can all have it and we can all cultivate it. It's about cultivating and releasing. That's why I work a lot with beliefs. The beliefs you have that tell you you're less than, or you're not divinity, or you're worthless, or you're wrong, or whatever we got covered up with.
So you talked about in the 90s, nobody's doing yoga. And yet you're sitting here doing tapping on the face. You're doing this energy psychology. How did you get into that at a time when nobody's doing it?
Well, that's because of my clients. I had some really seriously traumatized people. And I was realizing that, talking about this stuff isn't working. Like, they're getting worse. And my biggest prayer is, please don't let me make them worse. And I mean, really abuse people. And so now we didn't have the brain scans back then. Now we have the brain scans that show don't do that, or how neuropaths are and things like that. So, and at first I heard about, I was like always praying. I like, oh, please send me down something that's going to help this person. Don't let me make it worse. And I heard about an eye movement therapy. So I went and got trained in that. And that worked really good. But some of mine were so traumatized that I was afraid I would flood them, because I'm trained in standard things too, And then somebody was talking about this. And so I actually first watched some videos. I thought, oh, this is easy. I can do that. So I started doing it with my clients, and they now could go into places they couldn't go into before.
Oh, wow.
And the memories were moving away. And then I had a lot of clients who were super traumatized with dissociated parts, and we used to call it multiple personalities back then. I figured out how to do it with that, and a process I call soul weaving, to bring those parts back to hear and quiet the nervous system down. They integrate. Yeah. So kind of shamanic, but not, I don't wear flowy skirts or Birkenstocks. I'm in regular, Macy, whatever, TJ Maxx. I don't care, but so I'm like this bridge person that floats between everything, but I'm pragmatic. It works. And that's how I got into it.
So you didn't have any resistance to trying new things because you really wanted to help people.
Yeah. And that knowingness thing, like there's something here for me. And it was weird. I mean, people thought I was like, till I started getting results, then they couldn't argue. My people weren't going back in the hospital. They were getting better. Their psychiatrist was seeing, oh my God, their nightmares are better. Their flashbacks are better. This was happening. Oh, I should tell you, at the same time, my sister got sick and she eventually died. But regular medicine, she needed transplants. And so medicine couldn't help her until she got the transplant. So we started going to these like healers and people speaking in tongues. And so I was like really I didn't tell people I was doing that, but that got me some of that got me into the energy stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That was like, whoa, we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. I don't know what's going on. Like, so we were having experiences like that. When that all that got me into this energy thing.
What got you into psychology?
I'm like the second oldest of 12 kids. Okay. Born in the 50s. Okay. So my natural, 12 kids and the oldest girl. Okay. And so I kid that, I've been bossing people around since I was 3. I expect you to follow me. And I say things like, I know what I'm like, I'm knowing, like I've had it, and so it was like a natural progression for me to get into a helping what I thought was tell you what you need to know field. And that's what got me into that.
This is like, I just want to boss people around because I'm always
exactly. I thought, okay, I'm in. And then when I went to Saima said, I'm not here for devotees. I want to make masters out of you. And I thought, great. I could boss a few more people around. That would be great. I thought that's what a master was. Oh boy, was I wrong. What I had to master was my own energy and the frequencies in my field. And I had to learn how to be humble and tender and stop being so bossy and know-it-all. And I had to taper my know-it-allness. Like Saima is actually very good at what is your role here? Your role is not to tell your relatives what they should be doing. Play the right role, So I learned so much with Saima. I keep learning every day.
And that to me is a surrender.
Yes. It's like there's free will on this planet. Who are you to think you should interfere? People have a right to have any experience they want to have. Now, if they're paying you money, that's a different issue.
See, and I was actually just getting ready to mention that because even when people pay me money, I don't necessarily give them the answer. My guys have taught me how to ask the questions that lead them to the answer.
It leads them to the answer.
Yes. And that, believe me, when I already have the answer, not telling them is a surrender for me because I'm I'm very bossy. I'm like, I know what you need to do. And I got it psychically. My guides are telling me that. So, right.
Just do this and we're out of here,
For me to sit back and do what you're talking about, which is like
it's surrender and really to play the right role as a healer. I mean, that's not taught in many schools, and so that was so patience, humble, not necessarily qualities were my strong suit.
We don't have naturally.
No, I don't know about you.
No.
And a lot of we have a lot of healers on your show because you don't have it either. We put capes on, we fly around thinking we're going to save the planet from what shouldn't be happening, really. And you should have gone to Venus if you think it shouldn't be happening because we're on Earth. And it's a planet of duality, of fear and love. We're going to...
I love this conversation because I love that you're bringing in the healers. Like, this is who we are. This is what we tend to do because I have so many speakers and healers that watch the show.
Oh, good.
But we also have the people that are just in the audience who have been trying to tell their parents what to do.
Good luck with that.
They're trying to tell their family what to do. And it's like, you already have your life to live. Let them live theirs. And it's not the easiest thing for them to surrender to.
No, because they think because their fear is running it. That's the whole thing. That's why I work a lot with healers, influencers, though that's my favorite group to work with. People who are here they just know we're here to make a difference on the planet. You signed up for this. Okay. But that's your family was where you landed. That's not where you're supposed to be doing your work. And for heaven's sakes, stop waiting for them to get it or you won't do what you incarnated for. Bless them. I mean, thank them for bringing you here, but your soul now is our time. It really is. It's critical on this planet that we just shine the light, be the light, but you got to stop doing things out of fear, like fixing other people.
Nobody else has really talked about this on the show, and I'm loving it. I'm like, how come we never brought this up before? That's all your family wants to do. Because it's so hard for me, especially when people are just on their healing path. This is where I see it like the most difficult. It's like when they're on their healing path and they're like, I just got the information that, oh, it was my aha moment. I get it. They implement it for a few days, few weeks, and then they're like, Mom, you need to do this.
You need to do this. And mother's like, it's like trying, I sometimes tell people, it's like trying to teach a kindergartner calculus. They're not interested in it. In fact, you make them feel worse. It hurts them. So somebody said the other day, the truth spoken at the wrong time is abuse. Mm-hmm. I thought that was pretty strong. I would minimally say, though, truth spoken at the wrong time, it's hurtful. Yeah. And it oftentimes flips people to go in the other direction. And it puts a barrier between you and them. You know? So be very careful if you're, again, but some of this, you can't help yourself because your own wound is in there. And your fear that if Mom's not okay, you're not okay. Or I'll be all alone, like when you were 4 and all alone. You got to clean. That's the thing. You got to clean that stuff out. Then you're fully clear. It's easy to keep quiet. And just love people. Just go and love people.
It's interesting. I actually heard a coach once say, he said, if you misdiagnose people, you mistreat them. And it's interesting because that's when you said that, that's kind of where my mind went with that. It's like, yeah, it's an abuse, I think could be true. Yeah. And because people feel like they're broken. They feel like something's wrong. You just pointed something out that they had no idea of. Where I find in my work and even just in my own personal life is when I change, and I continue to change, and it doesn't matter who changes with me, but I continue to change, is when my family changed in the first place.
Well, that's energy, because energetically we're all connected. And so any work, especially for people who are listening who have children, or what you shift in your field goes down generations. Yep. So that history of trauma, that history of violence, you clear that violence out of your field. And it's possible now, and fast. That's the really good news. So that's, I guess, the news I would just love everybody to hear. There's so much help coming from the higher realms now to our planet for this time. We have to align with it. We have to listen to it. That's why really listening to your own intuition, what your soul is speaking to you, your soul came to do, and then get this guidance. There is so much power just in your presence. Your presence holds a power. But when I go home and tell somebody, well, you know what I think you ought to do? Oh, really? Do you think I'm coming from my highest place? Or you think I'm coming from, if you people would get a little saner, I won't be so embarrassed walking around with you, or whatever shame issue I got this week, So it's really getting clarity on that. And clean that up. Don't pretend you don't have it because you're a healer. Good luck with that. Most healers got into the healing field because they're wounded.
Because they need the healing in the first place.
Exactly. And they're trying to fix everybody so that they can finally, play or something.
Where do beliefs come from?
Good one. So mostly from your environment. And because your brain is in a brainwave state, the theta state under the age of 7. So theta is a very programmable state. That's what a hypnotherapist uses. So because they're in a theta state under the age of 7, anything somebody says to them or anything that happens, it goes in like a program. Okay. So most of our beliefs, there's some that form later in traumas and things like that, but are formed under the age of 7. Some are from your lineage. Okay. Some are things your first grade teacher said, if your siblings called you a fat lard or something, that's in there. You're stupid because you're not as smart as your brother. That's all in there. And so, and hypnotherapy will help to shift beliefs, but we've also found that tapping will do that. So you got a belief you want to shift?
You asked me that earlier, and then I'm like sitting here going, I was like, yeah, I can find one. And now I'm sitting here going, that I wasn't expecting that quick.
So take a minute and go into your intuition. Maybe you don't, maybe you do.
What I want to share?
Showing up. What's been just showing up?
I don't know if I have a negative belief around this, but if I do, I'd like to shift it. So I don't
Okay.
even care. Like, let's just do it. Even if it's like in my ancestry, but
Mhm.
being a millionaire is wrong or bad, or I can't.
Being a what?
A millionaire.
Excellent. That's a great one. Everybody on that's listening to that's got it. Okay, so take a breath and go inside and think about abundance, just money flowing to you. You have all this money coming to you, and notice what happens in you. Feel your body. Where is usually, well, there's usually a contraction somewhere. Notice the contraction. What did you learn? Tell me something that your money doesn't grow on trees, or who do you think you
I
are?
don't have any of those anymore. It's been years of shifting that, but I will tell you what did come up.
Okay.
I don't know what to do with it.
Okay.
I just don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to manage it. Should I spend it? I don't know what to do with it. Like, I don't need it because I don't know what to do with it.
Okay. And if you don't know what to do with it, what are you afraid of?
I will misuse it.
And if you
I'll
misuse
waste it. I waste it. That's what it is. I'll waste
it's
it.
wasting. Okay. And if you waste it, what are you afraid of? If you waste money, what are you afraid of?
The only thing that comes up is like, I'll be judged.
And if you're judged, what are you're afraid of?
My mother comes up. I see my mother's face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, think you're being wasteful and you're not supposed to be wasteful.
Because there are people starving in somewhere. Because what would she say to you? Not supposed to.
No, she would never talk about like, she never talked about being wasteful, but she did tell me because of her experience with being with what you're saying, that she felt like she always had to eat all the food on her plate. Like, she was never allowed to waste anything. You don't throw anything away. So it's just kind of like this, even though she never said it, I could still feel, oh, that's wasteful. You're supposed to use it.
You're supposed to use it, or you're just a bad person. You're like, if you waste something.
It doesn't feel good. I can't say it's like a bad person. There's nothing around it. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. It's not a good feeling.
Okay. All right. We'll just go with that. Now feel it in the body. Where is it in the body?
My abdomen.
And if it had a 0 to 10, 10 means it's really big.
I'm starting to feel it in my whole torso. So I'm going to say 10.
All right. You go, girl. Okay, good. Now look at me now. Come down 3 inches and over 3 inches. There's a sore spot right here. Right there. Okay. Yeah. It's like a Pledge of Allegiance spot. You could say you put your hand there. Okay. Now you want to rub that. Just rub it. Really, you'll see it feels a little tender. Okay. And you're going to say, even though it's not right to waste.
Even though it's not right to waste.
Like I accept myself.
I accept myself.
You know, I believe it's not right to waste. It's like really bad.
Even though,
like a little kid.
Even though I believe it's not right to waste, it's really bad.
And mom will be upset with me. And
my mom's going to be upset with me.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
Even though I believe I just not supposed to waste. It's really bad.
Even though I believe I'm just not supposed to waste, it's really bad.
And then maybe people will think I'm bad too. If you get really rich and waste money, like people will think I'm like bad.
People will think I'm bad.
I'm not all that. I'm not who I say I am. If I waste it, I accept myself.
Yeah, I accept myself.
All right, tap here. I'm choosing to release the belief that I'm bad if I don't know if I waste some money. Or I don't know. For you, it was you do know what to do with it. So I'm choosing to release it. You make it up. If I'm saying it, you make it like how you want it. I'm choosing
to release the belief that I'm bad if I waste money. I'm choosing to release the belief that I'm bad if I waste anything.
Exactly, including food, where we eat more than we need to eat over silly stuff because we don't want to waste. Paper.
Water is what's coming up for me. Don't waste water.
Yeah, exactly. You could turn into a hoarder. You keep this going. I'm choosing to release the belief that I'm bad if I waste anything.
I'm choosing to release the belief that I'm bad if I waste anything.
All the roots and origins of why I have it.
What is it? The roots or the
All
origin?
the roots and the origins, because it probably didn't start with your mother, it probably started in other
Oh yeah,
generations.
she learned it from her mom.
Yeah,
The
all the
Depression
roots and
era,
origins
yeah.
of why I have that and all that it means and does to me. So you say that I'm choosing to release the belief.
I'm choosing to release the belief.
Then I'm bad if I waste anything.
I'm bad if I waste anything.
People will judge me, and
me.
they'll all know I'm bad. I'll be exposed. It could be that too.
Yes, that's a good one. I'll be exposed if I waste things.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to be a fraud if you waste your money and all that it means and does to me. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to activate the meridians. So eyebrows. Mm-hmm. Right here where they start. Yeah. Side of your eyes. Under your eyes. And all these are beginning or end points of meridians that Dr. Callahan discovered or began to use in the 80s.
Well,
here at your collar.
Acupressure too.
Yeah, right here, like as if you had a skinny tie right there on either side. And this one's sometimes tricky, but you go down 4 inches right here, and you want to use your fist because it's usually tender. This is the one most people need. It's your spleen meridian. And then all your hands like a laser at the very top of your head. I'm trying not to fade out here. Now we're going to move your eyes around. You're going to tap here on the back of your hand. Okay. And you can put your hand right here on your body. And you're going to close your eyes and open them. This gets your brain to move around. Head straight, look down to one way and down the other way. And then roll them in a circle one way. And then go in the opposite direction. And then hum. Count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And then hum. Okay, and we tap again. So it's tapping, and you just move your brain around side of your eyes. And you can go real fast. Under your nose, under your lip. Right here at your collarbone. Under your arms, 4 inches. Poke around. That one should be tender. And then hands like a laser. And make sure all your fingers are touching, because there's tapping points in all the fingers. All right, take a deep breath. Now feel your body. And think about, I'm not supposed to waste anything or I'll be bad. You had this thing in the middle of your body. What do you got now?
It's moved to now where it's only like in my arm.
Okay, so breathe into it.
It's cleared.
Breathe into it. 0 to 10. The other one was 10 uncomfortable. Where are you at now?
I feel like 2.
2. Great. Perfect. So now you just, I don't know, we could go into this, but let's, I have a better idea. What belief would you really like to have in its place? It's hard to leave a belief if you don't know where you want to go. What would you, if you had a little girl, what would you teach her about money?
It's a very, very long belief.
Shocking, right, for you?
When you said that, I was like, I love making money, first of all. Okay. So
yeah.
I love making money. It's funny it's fun to have. I manage it well, and I spend it how I want.
And that's okay. Well, if you had a little girl, what would you train? What would you teach your little girl? Would you tell her, eat that? You no wasting that. Do you want this to go down another generation? What would you tell her? Or a niece?
That's the same thing I taught her in this lifetime. Have fun with your money. It's yours.
There's no scarcity. We share what we have. You're a good steward. You're a good steward with money. Abundance is your birthright. We're the ones down here who think we got to make sure everything's equal. Because, if I have too much, you have to have less. That's not even true.
Especially when you share. I had to teach her to share.
Because abundance, think about it. It's flow. It's all about flow. So if I'm afraid of money, I'll keep it to me. I'll hoard it. If I'm free with money, it's everything. It's like love. It's currency. It's current. Get it? So money flows. Mine is money flows through me. Sometimes for shoes and sometimes for this, and I just bring in some more, and you need some, sure.
Oh, I love that. Money just
universe is abundant.
I love that.
The universe is abundant. So now the next round, if you want to do another one, we would do, I'm choosing to release anything that's, this is what's important. Once you state, this is what I would program my child, then you know that's truth, because we don't lie to our kids. We may be screwed up ourselves, but we try to tell them the right things, but we don't have the energy for that. And so it usually doesn't work. But if you're telling me that's the truth, then you want to get in alignment with that so that your daughter or your grandchildren, or whoever you got, don't have the same beliefs. So what you would say is, I'm choosing to release anything that's blocking me from knowing that money is, I'm a good student. It's flow. And then you can teach other people how to be in the flow. Hello, everybody will come to your workshop. Then you make more money, and then you teach more people. And then we'll finally realize on this planet that it's a planet of abundance. The universe is abundant. Make sense?
The beauty is I've already helped people become millionaires. Now it's just my turn.
Yeah.
Can you show people your book? People need to see your book.
Pardon me?
Your book. People need to see your book.
Oh, so this is the book, The Energy of Belief. And it's all about how beliefs and how to find any belief you have and just transform it into something else. So you take the lousy belief, you feel it, you do the tapping, and then you put in some new ones. It's got all sorts of information in there about energy psychology and tapping and all that. So yeah.
And where would people find this book?
You can get on Amazon. You can go to energyofbelief.com, which is my web, or you can go to marysice.com and then get there to Energy of Belief. But if your listeners can go, and on there, there's even a video you can get. Of course, you have to give me your email, because that's how it goes these days. And I need an abundance of emails. And then you will give you, you can download a video of me tapping with you. So we'll figure out, obviously I can't figure out your belief, but we'll find your belief. You can find that through the book, and you'll, and then you can do the video with me, the download, and then do it a couple times, you'll get it. She was easy. Not everybody's that easy, but.
So all you guys have to do, if you're watching this when this is airing for the first 72 hours, all you have to just scroll down and you'll get that link. So you can just click and go straight to the site. And you should probably go check out that book if you enjoyed this exercise, and maybe you had shared the same negative belief that I had and you want to change it around.
Yeah.
So much fun to do it. I've been doing belief work for so long, and it's amazing. You no longer have this belief keeping you in fear, or this like for me, when I go to manifest, and if I have a negative feeling around it, I actually won't try to manifest that thing, because I know what I'm
can't. And you can't, because
you still manifest. You're always manifesting. I just manifest something negative instead.
Exactly.
So you
can't manifest what you say you want.
Yeah. So I will go and find something that makes me feel good, manifest it while I'm working on the belief of the thing that made me feel negative.
Exactly.
That I want,
Well, the other way you can do it is tap down heal the part of you that got the lousy belief. It's a child part. Always free that part, that energy that's stuck there of being bad. Maybe she spent money wrong and whatever, or didn't eat all her dinner. And then free that. And then it's easy to manifest. That's when your life, it's just easy, because you don't have part of you here wanting this and part of you over here going, no, I'm better.
Yeah,
that's part two.
So those of you that are feeling those negative belief systems, if you want to get rid of them, instead of trying to manifest over it and hoping that will get rid of the problem, go look at her book. What is the name of the book again? Can you show everybody and give us the name again?
Yes, it's called The Energy of Belief.
There we go. So look for that book. You see the color of it. You see there's a little yellow round thing at the top. Go purchase that. Check it out, because it's easier to deal with your beliefs now than 20 years from now going, I wish I had of.
Oh, I know. And the world needs you to free yourself. It sounds like an obligation, but I invite you to really just free yourself from everything you are not, so that you can be more and more in alignment, and more. We're looking for peace on this planet, then we have to be peaceful. So it's really important that for every one of you who really takes the time to clean up what you are not, and really love being here on this beautiful planet and shifting it, be part of the shift.
No, absolutely. This has been so much fun. The last question I have for you is, do you have a miraculous story you'd like to share with your audience?
I already told you, I get no mirror. I get no nobody's walked in. My life is a
story for you. Then I will tell you your miracle. Your miracle is the fact that you were open to this years ago to get to this point and help so many people. That to me is a miracle.
Yes, yes.
At a
Yes.
time where everybody else wasn't doing this. It might have seemed a little crazy when you were doing it.
Oh, yeah.
I
Exactly.
got in it a little bit after you, and I was actually surprised when I went to school and I was learning that some of this stuff is being studied in hospitals, and this was in 2000, right?
So you're in 2000. I'm like in the 90s,
Yeah.
and
So
it
you were
was
about 10
really,
years ahead of the curve, and in the 20s, I mean, in 2000, all of a sudden this stuff started to change and people started
yes.
to get into it. But still, most people still thought it was crazy.
I would say most people think it's crazy now.
Probably.
It's so interesting. Not probably in your world, but if you looked at the whole world, it's like, so they're
Not my
catching
world
up.
at all. At all.
They're catching up, but who cares? We're getting there. The planet is shifting. It is going to shift in the really a light-filled, loving way. You'll see. I know it.
And everybody that's watching right now is a part of that shift. So thank you everybody for
Yes.
tuning in and watching the show. Thank you so much for being here and being a guest and teaching everybody this wonderful skill. And don't forget to catch us tomorrow, same time, same place, because I'm pretty sure this is going to be like at the beginning. You guys are probably going to be seeing this day one because you guys need this. And then just tune in, same time, same place tomorrow, and we'll see you then. Bye.
Thank you.